Okay, good afternoon, gentlemen. We're here with the Stampy and Ranga podcast. We have a very special guest, Zoltan, with us. Zoltan Borbasi is his real name, but then I've always known him as Zolly. And he's been involved with the mountain bike scene for a long time. Also has his own little scene with Volatile Revisioned, which I remember when I was a kid. I mean, and like being a kid, I'm talking when I was 15 years old, I used to look at all the films that he put together, mainly based on mountain biking and the mountain biking scene. And so, Daniel and Zolly, welcome to the podcast, guys.
Welcome.
Thanks for having me. How you going?
Yeah, pretty good, man. Pretty good. How's the weather down there? Adelaide, yep, good.
Today's a nice day. Yeah, today's a really nice day, actually. Yesterday I had a bit of rain, but today's good. I think we're getting to a good patch here. What about you guys?
It's been pretty good, although like I've recently moved down from Queensland. So I was in Queensland for 20 years, and so I haven't felt the cold for 20 years. I think I had 4 cold days on the Gold Coast. This is being honest as well, and so, but yeah, it's been a bit chilly. So but it's good though. It's good.
Yeah.
What prompted the move? Why did you decide to move?
Well, my beautiful fiance Sarah, she's originally from Canada, and she went to the Wollongong University down here when she first came over, and now she has like a full-time job there, and I can pretty much work from anywhere. Although I am doing trail building in the locally as well. So yeah, so it was a good move for us. Awesome.
Yeah, cool.
Big culture shock too, I'm guessing, Nathan.
What's that?
Big culture shock too, I'm guessing.
Oh yeah, it's a bit of a culture shock. I mean, like just spending a lot of time on the Gold Coast, and then like I was in Bow Desert, which I don't regret it, but it was a learning experience, put it that way. So, but yeah, it was fun. I mean, like yourself, Daniel Ranga, like you've been a Sydney-based man, I think your whole life, haven't you?
My whole life, yeah. I've moved a bit around Sydney, from the west to the northern beaches to the hills district, and now settled in the Blacktown area. But yeah, I've not many stamps on my passport, mate.
We just sold our house December. Like we lived in our last place for 21 years.
Yeah.
And we decided to, just make a big change. It was a big decision. But good one.
Change. Did you move far? Move far from
no, pretty close. Only a couple of suburbs over. Really not too far. Yeah. So we looked in the same area. Found a good spot. So
yeah. So what?
Let's get risky move at the time. Risky and scary. We didn't have a place to live. Like literally till the week we sold our house, we got a place at auction the week before.
Yeah.
If we didn't get that house, if we didn't get this house, we had nowhere.
It's a bit nerve-wracking when.
It's pretty exciting. Yeah, it's exciting for sure. Wouldn't rush to do it again though.
What's your background, Zoltan? Where do you hail from?
Adelaide, born and raised here in Adelaide, South Australia the whole time. Mum and Dad grew up at South Plympton near Edwardstown Oval. Again, still not far from us here.
Yeah.
Once I moved out of home, I was at Darlington, Happy Valley, moved around a little bit, through those, 20 years. And then we're at Unley for 21 odd years, and now we're here at Westbourne Park. So just outside.
Where did you knock about? Like at school, did you always sort of envision you were going to be part of the mountain bike sort of scene? Or?
Nah, definitely not. Nah, in school, I went to Sacred. I've knocked around a few schools. Yep. St. Anthony's. No, not St. Anthony's. Yeah, no, St. Anthony's. Then I went to Sacred Heart for a few years, Sacred Heart Junior School. Yep. And then I really like music. So I went across to Mitchell Park because they had a band, like a school band.
Yeah.
So I went to Mitchell Park for music. And that was kind of my local crew, but I was playing soccer. I wasn't into bikes at all.
Yeah,
right.
Dragster with some big cow horns. I remember having to buy that I'd spray paint myself and put the bearings in the cranks. Like I couldn't build much, but I spray painted this bike at these big cow horns. That was my ride. Yeah.
No, that's what mountain biking really is. I mean, like you can really just bring like any sort of attitude and personality to the scene. I mean, like I'll even move into like our first topic. I always knew you as having like some pretty crazy, well dressed dreadlocks there, Zolly. Like That was like whenever I think of Zolly, I always think of like you and your crew. Like I think there was a few of you that had dreadlocks, but you always used to have these crazy dreadlocks, man.
Yeah, I mean, I had them twice. Once I had people. I went to a hairdresser to get them paid to put in, like, because it was expensive, $300-400, like ages ago, 20, 30 years ago, and they just permed my hair in pipe cleaners. Really, that's all they did. And that fell out. And that was pretty shit. That didn't work. And then afterwards, I ended up doing it myself. I had this little dog comb, and you just grab the section, the bit of hair out, and you'd sit watching TV at night and just tease it back and keep them tight and keep them good. And they lasted for years. They were really clean. Like, I could wash them. I could do everything with them. Yeah.
Yeah, we learnt. I had dreadlocks a few years ago myself, back in my early 20s. But some previous guests, yeah, they were dreadlock technicians, and we learned a lot.
Locticians.
Yeah,
my apologies.
Is the technical term.
Sorry
a
to the girls.
Loctician. Yeah. Well, Joe, my wife, I gave her dreadlocks. Even she had dreadlocks at one stage. They were really good because I kind of knew how to do it and keep it. I mean, I thought they were good for what I was trying to make them look like. I think they worked really well.
Yeah.
They kept their form, kept their shape. You know.
Yeah, you can definitely mark it up.
Straggly, and I can get pretty straggly. You know.
Yeah, you can definitely mark it up. I mean, like, I've even spoken to some critics about dreadlocks, and it's like, oh, they're just dirty and everything like that. But like, I know, like, from my own experience with Sarah's, I mean, like, if you take care of it, and it does take a lot of work too, but they look amazing. You know, like even Sarah's won competitions with her dreadlocks, and she's had dreadlocks for a long, long time now. So
yeah. I'd be curious to know if my techniques were useful or why mine worked.
From what you were displaying to me, like maybe the techniques might need a little work, but
I don't know.
But yeah, I'm sure it's fine though. You know.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. We doing a bit of research into this podcast, and obviously you, Zoltan, so I can prepare some questions and whatnot. But I noticed you started early on in pool building. Was that something you sort of saw yourself going somewhere with?
Nah, and that was where bikes kind of stopped. And once bikes stopped, the next thing that I fell into was building pools. You know, I actually started just helping a mate dig trenches.
Yep.
They were running the plumbing, and it needed a trench dug. And because I was building dirt jumps all the time, like, man, I dug for free. I dug for free for 10 years. You know,
Yeah,
so
we all did.
someone says, I'm gonna pay you $25 an hour if you just dig this trench. It's like, man, I can dig that trench for you. So I just kept digging.
Dig a whole pool for you.
And then another plumber would see me and say, oh, you dig. And so I dig this trenches. I dig for holes for other people. And then they used to actually call me THB, the human backhoe, because I just come and dig. I just come and dig. Like, they get machines in, and I could dig as fast as the machine, you know.
Oh, so you're digging digging these pools by hand?
I wasn't digging the pools by hand. No, I was digging the trenches for the plumbing, but stuff that often they bring a small machine in. It wasn't practical. You know.
Well, that's it. Like, there's got to be some like tight areas and stuff like that. You can't use a machine anyway.
So yeah, started with digging, and then the steel fixers saw I worked hard, so they gave me job steel fixing.
Yep.
Then the pool builder saw me working hard, so they gave me job plumbing, and then the concreters, same. So I worked through the ranks. I mean, Adelaide's a small place. At the time there's only a few concrete crews, and all the people that taught me my bits were, you know, had years of experience and really nice people. They're still good friends today, you know.
Yeah, that's great. That's great.
Early in my career, I started off digging pools myself. I was working with my uncle. I'd drive the Daihatsu with dirt to the tip, and be on the trimming bar, trimming up the sides of the pool, and it was actually good work.
That's concrete or fiberglass?
Concrete pools,
concrete as well. Yeah.
But yeah, we'd work all. Beg your pardon?
You doing the steel and that as well?
No, we'd only do the excavation side of things. But yeah, it was interesting work. We'd see some good locations, and we worked for a few famous people as well. No, it was great work. I really enjoyed it. So
Oh, that's good. I mean, like, just correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, like, pool building has obviously been around for a very long time, but like, you put all the steel in, and then you use shotcrete. Is that right? So you're basically shooting the concrete up the walls.
yeah,
That's correct, isn't it? Yeah.
Like a fire hose, with air in it, and you go up certain heights that you can spray it, and then the guys come through and cut it.
Yep.
Straight, basically. Yeah.
So,
straight or like a pool.
And in a day like you're there in the morning and it's steel in a hole, and by 3 o'clock in the afternoon there's your concrete pool. It's a pretty cool day when it happens. It's really satisfying to see that completed at that stage.
Oh yeah, I've got a lot of respect for like anyone involved in concrete. I mean, like, not only just to create something amazing, but like just the work hours and stuff like that. Like just to even the waiting process, like the curing process. Like it really is an art. It is.
Yeah, sure is.
Even for the workers, the concreters, like my lad, I've been getting my lad to try and help me do stuff, and says, "Oh, we want to stop. We're on a 15-minute break," and my wife says, "Oh, by the rules, after every 3 hours you have a break and have this." I said, "Concreters don't have breaks. If concreters stop,
that's right.
Oh, hang on, I got my 15-minute break now. Oh, it's 12 o'clock. I'm going to sit down for half an hour." No, it doesn't work like that.
Concrete's already gone off on you.
We work.
I remember talking to some old guys once, like, concrete doesn't wait for anyone.
No way. No way.
That's just what they tell you, and it's true. It is dead set true.
Those guys work hard for sure.
Yeah. So I noticed you started your own podcast. How's that going for you?
Yeah, it's been really good fun, actually. Yeah, I mean, really challenging, but really enjoyable. I mean, I've been taking a long time to work through the process.
Yeah.
I'm really happy with what I've done so far, but I know there's heaps of stuff I could improve on. But yeah, I did 5 initially, and because I've got all the video footage, I was trying to put that video footage over the top of the conversation as well.
Yeah.
So it could be pretty time consuming. And at some point I just had to say, look, I'll stop, and this is all the footage I'm going to put on, Steve's podcast. I could keep going, but then the podcast would never get out because I'd keep finding more footage to put in there. Some guys have got a lot of footage. So but yeah, it's been really good fun. And I've been enjoying catching up with mates again like this. You have a chat and a conversation, and caught up with a couple other guys just the week gone past. Ben Whitlock. I don't know.
I remember Ben. Yeah,
name. Yeah, so I caught up with him this week, and Jamie Moore, who runs another White House Youth Project, used to do Stowaway. So just to get their conversations out there, and we're not famous or anything like that, but these people have got some interesting stories to tell.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's what it's all about. Really. Like if you've seen our podcast before, like we really have some interesting people on there. I mean, like, well, everyone, we are absolutely open to anything. But let me just have a bit of a backtrack there. Like, I think we mentioned Volatile Visions already, perhaps, and like some of those mountain bike movies that we I was watching when I was growing up. I'm talking like 15, 16, 17, 18 years old. Like, what was the drive with that? Did you just love filming and like putting something together? Like, I remember, like, it was always the like there was Mud Cows and there was Volatile Visions, and it was all around that sort of time, and it was just like almost like a party environment as well that we were seeing, and I think it really displayed mountain biking in general. Like what was the drive behind Volatile Visions?
Well, I'd actually bought a video camera to go on a holiday to Queensland with the missus. We drove up to Queensland when I was 21 or something like that. And so I happened to have a video camera. And then as we came back, I think I just bought my first mountain bike, only around 21. And then I did a few cross countries. And then they had this downhill event at Marble Hill, the first downhill event. And I had my camera there, and I just filmed stuff on the event and thought, this is pretty cool. And I thought, this, you don't get to see that anywhere else. We're talking 94, 95. I'd barely seen mountain biking, full stop.
Yeah.
And then they had cross country, which, okay, that's an introduction to mountain bikes. And then downhill was the next step. And that was just when the Inside Line Mountain Bike Club formed. That was their first.
Yeah, I remember those guys. Yeah.
Around that time. And so I just had the camera and started filming stuff just for fun. And then just looking back at it afterwards, and then, maybe trying to edit it. I used to like watching Rage as a kid.
Yeah.
Like you come home and you watch Rage and the video clip.
Yeah.
And that was the video clips. I love watching the video clips. Mixed
You knew it was a
over.
big night if you came home and Rage was just about to finish.
I know, yeah, I know. That's it. But that was always good. Good. I used to love watching. 2, 3, 4 in the morning. You'd come home, whatever. I never used to really drink as a teenager, but I'd like hanging out and watching the movies. And so to me, it was like me making my own video clip. It was like Rage, but with mountain bikes and using local bands as the music.
Yeah, I remember the bands, man. Like pretty interesting music. I mean, like I've been a lover of music like my whole life, sort of thing. And I watched those movies that you put together, and it was always just like this groovy sort of mountain biking sort of feel to it. Like it had a really good atmosphere, like bringing everyone together. I loved it as a kid. It was awesome.
There's a big variety of music. I just used to go to, well, I used to, at the time, we'd go see bands at the local surf club. That's what we used to go and hang out and see anyway. But then you go to Big Star Records and just go through the CD collection and look for local bands. And if they had you listen to 6 CDs, put your headphones. I spent a couple of hours in the music shop just listening to CDs, find stuff that you liked. If they had contact details, I'd just contact the bands and say, look, I'm making a video. Do you want to put your music on here? And they pretty much always said yes.
Yeah, that's a good aim.
And then I got to promote their music as well as the writing. I mean, I loved the music just as much as the writing. I really did, But if you just play a video of just writing, it wasn't that exciting. Without music in the background, you can only watch so much of someone riding down a hill.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's true. Like I'll even add to that as well. I mean, like mountain biking overall, I think I'm going to use the wrong word here, but it's a lonely sport, because like you're out in the middle of nowhere and you're basically by yourself. I mean, like you got your boys and stuff like that, but you can really only ride like certain distances apart and things like that. So like just having a bit of music on usually helps. I mean, like I've done it a few times, like just to sort of drive you on, but then really like for you to go out there and have the dedication to even film like mountain biking and be out there basically by yourself, I'm guessing, and just like watching a rider every now and then. I mean, like my dad used to come and film the races just for something to do.
Yeah.
But then, like coincidentally enough, he most of the recording was of the ground because he mucked up the recording.
Oh, I did plenty of that
sequence.
Yeah.
Did you ever do that, Zolly? Did you ever?
All the time. Yeah, all the time. I used to make myself sick looking back at the footage, like in the real early days. So like you're filming out when we drove to Queensland, you're filming out the windscreen of the car and you think this is great, look at this scenery. But then you look back at it afterwards and it's just motion and movement and all the rest of it. And I would physically make myself sick sometimes looking back at the footage, like motion sickness. Yeah, especially in the early days because I'd edit through the viewfinder of the camera. So I didn't have a screen. So I'd be literally looking through the footage through that viewfinder of my video camera. And then
yeah, I can imagine. I don't think I could do that. I mean, like these days we have the beauty of having our phones where you can just sort of pick anything up. But like back in the day, like you would have had the camera on here,
It's still fairly small, but you were talking about locations and being on the side of a hill. I remember being on the side of Mount Buller at certain times of the year, the March flies would come there. And so I'd be sitting in the bushes trying to get the angle of this. There's this dusty corner that's blown out and it's hot and there's March flies biting you and you'd hit them and you'd have to hit them 6 times because they wouldn't die. They're that strong. And you get
hit them with the not with the video camera.
Nathan's coming through. I've got to get this shot and you're getting stung by March flies at the same time. Yeah.
They're bastard things, aren't they?
Yeah. I don't know if people know what March flies are. I don't know. Do people understand what they are?
I mean, like for our viewers overseas, I mean, like we have marsh flies. I'm pretty sure they have like something similar overseas.
Sandfly or something.
In Canada.
Yeah, I'm just being reminded that they have horse flies in Canada. I assume they're like something similar, but yeah, like getting stung with a march fly is not a good experience. Put it that way.
We don't have them in Adelaide. Like, it's,
okay, right.
No, we don't get them here. But they're big and they're strong, and they get hit 3 times before they die.
they hit you back along the way.
Yeah, they do.
No, those things are pretty vicious for Australia. I mean, like, we have a lot of vicious things here in Australia. I mean, like, I remember, like, you just kind of jog on my memory a little bit of all these crazy things. Like, I was in America one time, and a deer came out and was jumping along the trail in front of me, and then jumped over the other side of the trail, and I was just like, I was like we don't really have crazy deer, but like Daniel, this is even a question for you. I mean, like you grew up on a deer farm.
I sure
All
did.
right. So just tell us a bit about that and like how that fit into the Australian culture, just for
It's
giggles,
funny.
Daniel.
It's funny, deer maybe 20, 30 years ago were sort of one of those animals that become popular, you know, fashionable almost to have, and there started to become a big market around it. All of a sudden, everybody had deer farms. After a while, people started letting these deer go, and it's funny you should say, you know, there's not many deer around sort of certain pockets, especially where I live. There's little pockets of bush and things like that. Some of these deer have become almost in feral populations, and quite often you're driving up Richmond Road, one of the main arterial roads near my house, and you'll see 2 or 3 dead deer on the side of the road. So so yeah, it's actually becoming a bit of a problem. The funniest thing we saw was probably a year or two ago. There was a dead deer on the side of the road, big stag, big horns hanging out, and a couple of days later, someone had wheeled a shopping trolley up and put the deer inside the shopping trolley, and then and left this deer sitting in a shopping trolley right on the side of the main road. If anybody's got a photo, of that, please send it in, please.
Oh man, I don't know about that. So Zolly, I mean, like, I solely remember you for Volatile Visions and like watching those really creative grassroots sort of mountain bike scene movies. I mean, like, what are you doing now? Like, do you still go out and like make other films and stuff? Like, what are you up to?
I stopped about 2007. I did a series for Foxtel. I did 8 half-hour episodes, and then I did a couple other little projects with some off-road racing, and then
I think I remember something. Yeah, keep going.
And then kind of put the cameras away and stopped, and then went into pools. You know, I had young family and all that sort of stuff. Ended up working at bike shop, JT's in the city, but kind of stopped making the films. And then, you know, about 2 years ago, I redigitized all my old masters. That was 6 months and a few dollars in itself just to try and get those old tapes mastered. And then I've just been loading the little clips up at night, about a year or two ago, or about a year or so on Instagram, just loading up some of the old clips.
Cool.
You know, got a bit of time up my sleeve to waste. And I've been thinking about doing this for years, but because August was the 30-year anniversary that I registered the name for Volatile. So it was kind of something to celebrate or do something for the 30-year anniversary, even if it's just fine. It was a date. And I didn't know what it was going to be. And after loading those clips for a year, I decided to make this podcast. So I saved up and bought the cameras and the lights and made myself a little setup.
Yeah, I've seen your setup, pretty pro. I mean, like, ours is pro, obviously, but like,
otherwise, no, I don't really film. I go and take photos of my lad's soccer. So I've been doing that all the years. He plays soccer, so I take photos of the soccer, and I just take photos of the kids for the
nice.
Kind of
was
thing.
there a turning point, or a pivotal event that made you stop doing Volatile?
Yeah, I probably got a little bit burnt at the end. Yeah, just a couple of bad experiences. And my dad had died around the same time. Like, he died just before I decided to make the series for Foxtel. That was kind of maybe my impetus, just to put my energy somewhere useful. I made that project that kind of kept my mind busy through that period. And then did a couple other things that were kind of looked like they were leading somewhere. And I kind of felt like I got a bit burnt by the people involved. So after that, after a couple of hits, you know, every now and then you get hits in life and work, and I just didn't really get back up from those couple for a while. Took me till now, but you know.
It sucks that you need to watch out for these people. You think, you know, when you go into a contract or, you know, even a verbal agreement, handshake agreement, people should honour these agreements, but they don't always do so. I know, I've had similar circumstances in the building industry. So
yeah, I look, and it's kind of life, you know. At the time, it hurts and it stings, but the older you get, the more years, they're kind of blips on the radar. And And like, there's no one, like you say, no one's without stuff that happens like that, you know?
Exactly. Yeah. Like even myself, I mean, like I have a YouTube channel. All right. I won't promote it on here, but then like some of the guys and girls that worked with that footage even contacted me and said, well, you can't actually use that footage. And it's like, well, it's already out there. It's been a lot of fun doing it. And like, I didn't even know you were filming me. And now I'm just like even promoting you. And like, they were kind of upset with it, but, yeah, it's weird how the world goes around like that. I mean, like this is just me thinking out loud, really. I mean, like you made money from me and then I can't use the footage of me to not even promote myself. It's just for fun,
Yeah.
you know?
That whole copyright and promotion and who owns this and all that sort of stuff. I mean, now looking back at it, you know, back then you didn't really see the reasons why, but now when things get millions of views and someone can make money because of whatever the thing you did, you can understand people trying to protect that. I don't know. I mean, I don't necessarily agree with it, but if you're making
Like
money,
there is like a
you
bit
should
of
share it around. I don't
there
know.
is a little circle there, sort of thing. I mean, like I wasn't asking to be filmed, but then I was filmed, and then someone makes money from it, then I can't use that footage of
That's right.
myself.
Yeah,
Of your own.
It is a bit of a
it's
loop.
you, yeah, like photos of you or
Yeah,
whatever.
we do try and give credit, but that's all we can do, really. So, yeah.
Yeah, so at the same time, if you're a photographer and you've got your expensive camera and taken that photo of the whatever, I mean, I suppose you want to protect that image, but between you and the rider, I don't know, there should be an agreement. Look, this is both of ours, you know, it's yours and mine.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
You know, I don't know.
Yeah, well, that's right. It should be not free to wear, but like if it is me or anyone or in any sport, then I think I should be able to have some sort of a bit of a hall pass there,
Yeah.
a bit of a hall pass, you know. But,
And even look, if even going further, if it was monetized, you'd go, well, you should be able to, you know, maybe share some of that around too, you know?
Yeah.
yeah, but so that's the thing. I mean, like when you're a sponsored athlete, that is your job to get media attention. That is your pretty much your sole purpose. Besides, like having results, but like that is your job to be out there and like doing for several different parties which are filming you, and you really can't govern who it is, or you half the time you don't even know who they are. So yeah.
Did
Anyway,
you do stuff in movie things like you were talking about my videos? Were you in many other big videos, Nathan? Like
yeah, I was in
Waters and
like
all those
a
sorts of
lot.
things?
Yeah, like for a while there. I mean, like back in my heyday, I was in pretty much all of them. Like, but like it's only ever like 5 seconds here, 6 seconds there, sort of thing. I mean, like
Yeah.
we are working on some more things in the future, which I'll talk to you about at a later date. But yeah, like we're looking to but yeah, like I was saying before, it wasn't my fault that I was in pretty much every movie. Like I was just ranked really high at the time, and so I was in every movie, and I didn't have any control over that whatsoever. So.
Well, when I was
Yeah.
making movies, if I'd come to a national, you'd try and film the fastest riders or the best riders, whoever they were, because obviously you put them in the video. That's people want to see the best. That's
Exactly. Yeah.
it. You don't want to film the guys that are if they're coming 30th. That's not quite the same as the guy that's coming the top three.
That's right.
Yeah, I know. I mean, like I mentioned before, like my dad used to do the filming kind of thing, like just for fun, just like a home video type thing. But 80% of it probably didn't need to be filmed, but then it was just like for fun. It was like a family thing, So
Memories, yeah, that's it. Yeah, because I've got all my old tapes. I really want to hopefully be able to open them up. Like all my little mini DVs and my height. I've got hundreds of hours because the stuff I've had digitized is just the whole video. And that's again, it's 3 seconds of this, a split second of that. But the behind the scenes of so much of that footage would be really good to have now as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Who's some of the riders that you just love to watch, love to film?
Look, man, I know I really grew up in that era when it was so strong. The field was so strong. Rennie was coming through, Kavarik, Joel Panozzo. I mean, Ronning was a bit older than you guys. Sam Hill was still a youngster. And then recently, seeing Troy, Brosnan, and Connor coming through the ranks. the guys here in Adelaide, like Marshy, he was one of my best mates, like on a trials bike and even riding downhill, just his skills were incredible. You know, Grant Allen, you know, just a legend of a guy. The Mogs, you know, even just people in the industry as well. Like Adelaide's a good place. The shops and the industry was all really tight, and they're all the time that we grew up in those 90s. Everyone was part of the community. It was everything in everyone, I think, and we all just did whatever we could, as little as what it was, to make the sport really fun and enjoyable. You know, and we had a good time.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Yeah.
That's exactly right. I mean, like I was young when I started watching your films and footage, and like it was almost like I was watching it with my parents, and they were like, "What is this?" You know, like this is the sport that you're in, Nathan. You know, and like I started doing well at a young age, and then like this is the sport. Like I'm just seeing all these crazy guys, with the furry pants, and like all the dreadlocks, and like, everyone having fun, and like it was about, you know, drinking and entertainment as well. And it was just like, this is a real sport, Nathan. This is a real sport. It's like, yes, it's the best sport ever. It is the best.
They were shocked by this, Nathan, and then you came along.
I was reasonably well behaved, I must admit.
I think maybe because it wasn't really a parent involved sport. Like by the time you got into mountain bikes, like you say, it's a bit of a solo sport, an individual sport.
Yeah, it is.
By the time you're 15, 16, you don't need your parents to get you anywhere unless it's interstate to travel, like a big event, fair enough. But otherwise, you're on your own. So mountain bikers, they kind of got to, you know, rule each other. You know, some older guys and younger guys, and everyone just worked in and did their bits together, having fun. You know.
Yeah, that's right.
There was no real parent influence at the start of mountain biking. There was no veterans. You know, there wasn't a veterans category then because there wasn't anyone on that old riding bikes at that stage.
No, I mean it is a very, very deep friendship sport. It is. I mean, like we have. I just think back, like our very first like junior team that we went overseas with. I mean, like there were a couple of different changes with guys and stuff like that. But what we used to call ourselves the Junior Assault Squadron, and we still are the best of mates today. And we still try and keep in contact as much as we can. You know, like several different guys. You know, we were thrown into like a foreign country in Europe all together at 17 years old. We didn't know anything. You know, it was just like, okay, guys, you're on the Australian team, and then thank you, Dave Ollie, if you're listening, but you took care of us. You were like our surrogate father kind of thing. I don't even know if that's the right word, but like we would muck up all the time, and like we were just kids. You know, we're absolute kids, and like we're still friends today, but you know, really, like you get a group of young guys that are in a sport which is like still growing at the time. Like, what are we gonna do? You know, like we're gonna get up to a bit of mischief here and there, sort of thing. I mean, I remember leaving a condo once, and the place was just like it was like decimated. You know, like it was. You just do a head count, and then there'll be like a few guys there that you don't even know. I was like, hey man, what's going on? Like it was that's just what the sport is, you know. Like, yeah.
I can imagine the logistics of you guys traveling at 17, you'd be fairly useless as well. I don't know, getting all your stuff and collect it and know where the terminal is, and that'd be pretty overwhelming. A new language, all of that.
Yeah. Like you go to a country, you don't even know that they speak a different language, and they don't even like speaking English. Yeah. And they're like, I remember getting to a race once, and I was trying to get some information from this lady, whoever she was, and she's like, I don't speak English. That's what she said to me. That's her exact words. I don't speak English. Like, all right. See ya.
Hey, an early story I remember of you, I don't know, Rennie, I reckon it was Mount Buller and a potato gun.
Yeah. What about this potato gun?
Did that story come out now? Is it? Do you know?
You tell me the story. You tell me the story.
I don't know. There was a potato gun at Mount Buller, wasn't there? I don't know where it came from. Someone had a potato gun, like 90.
There was a potato gun strapped to a Datsun for a while. Just put it that way, okay? It was like it was a tank. It was a tank. Keep going. Don't mention the big sign that disappeared. That was all glass. We didn't know it was glass. Okay, just.
I've never made a potato gun. Have you made a potato gun? Do you know how to make them?
I've never messed with that stuff.
No,
never.
I'm lying to you, but I've never made one myself, but I know exactly how to make one.
All right, moving right along.
Yeah. We're not going to have a podcast on potato guns. Kids out there, it is dangerous, and they are really powerful. So don't even go there, guys.
So what are you working on at the moment, Zoltan? What's
like I've just dug a new pool in the backyard here.
Yeah.
So I've put a pool and spa in the backyard, and I just chip away on that in the afternoons. I'm just building the fence at the moment. Might get back and get the last, few rails in there this afternoon.
Yep.
And apart from that, it's the podcast stuff. We're just working out, there's the editing side of it and the recording, but there's also trying to work out how to put it on the other platforms, teaching myself, how to get it just not on YouTube, but on Spotify and all that sort of stuff. But it takes time to learn all that stuff. And I like building the pool, so I pretty much work on my pool while it's daytime and then do the computer stuff when it gets dark. I walk the dog in the morning, I go to the gym at lunchtime. Yeah, I try and keep healthy now, but I drink too many beers in the afternoon. I trying to cut them out, the first part of the week.
Yeah, you gotta be careful of that stuff, that's for sure.
I've actually got to force myself, I've got a bit of a competition with my lad who's got the best six-pack by his birthday, which is about
Are you going to give us a bit of a pre and then like a
pre
and then
I'm keeping it hidden, like I'm just keeping
a work in progress?
I'm keeping my six-pack warm and comfortable in there. But that's a challenge. Like I figure if I could stop drinking for 3 weeks, I reckon I might surprise him. I've been working on it for 6 months. There's definitely no six-pack yet, that's for sure.
All right, we won't even see it. I won't ask.
Yeah, no. But that's a challenge for me, to maybe encourage me to drink a bit less beer for a period of time.
How was your introduction to podcasting? Was it nerve-wracking or
for me to do mine?
Yeah.
It was really nerve-wracking trying to get everything to work.
Yeah.
Like I was just the camera, and I've never used the camera, I've never used the lights. I bought a brand new camera like a few weeks before. So just to make all that stuff work, I was practicing, look, when does the battery run flat? What happens here? How does this work? I had no idea about any of it. Just practice stuff here. And then when I'm actually getting the guys in the booth, I'm really nervous up until the fact that I've pressed record on everything.
Yep.
And as soon as I think, okay, everything's on, now we can just talk. That bit's been really easy, actually. I haven't prepared any notes, or I didn't have anything prepared. We've just started talking, and it's worked pretty well so far. I'd probably like to have a bit of structure to it, maybe as I get into it. But at the moment, I'm kind of just introducing a few mates, really. I'm talking to guys that I've known and telling a little bit of their background and their history and what they did and where they are now. Not really getting meaningful.
That was what I was going to ask you, Zolly. I mean, like we have like several different topics on ours. I mean, like what sort of structure do you want to follow there? Like what sort of guests do you want to have?
To start with, it's just all the people that I've known here. Like, I mean, Adelaide, I know plenty of guys from interstate as well. My setup's here at home. So if I can get someone into my place, but man, I think I've got a list of 50 people. Writers, but not just like the bands, like the guy, the lead singer from different bands, or because they're friends and mates as well. So I'd like them to tell their story, like graffiti artists.
Nice.
I've got a couple of guys working on some designs for me. We kind of met through the making of the videos, but you might have been a photographer, you might have been the video guy, you might have been a writer, you might have been one of the mums or dads. I don't know, it's probably the older generation. It's not really for the younger kids. Like if you're in your 20s, 30s even, it's maybe not that relevant. But 30-year-old, that's probably the demographic. And it's those people now. Like I knew them 20, 30 years ago. Now I go and talk to them and tell us what you did, share a bit of your life and your stories.
That's cool. Yeah, that's cool.
That's where it is for the moment. But I've bought a new 4-mic podcast setup. So I want to get 4 of us in together. And that would be quite a different thing. And in that, 4 mates, but you could also talk about a topic with 4 mates,
So you have live guests in your studio?
Yeah,
okay.
we'll bring them in there. And look, I'm still waiting for a couple of mics. How I'm going to set that up, I don't know. But I know, look, Dean and Rowan and Grant and Marshy, there's a good group of us. And I know, I've even thinking of guys at my lad's soccer club, like for the soccer club, for the president and the president and the team managers and stuff to tell the story of Cumberland United Soccer Club. They could have a conversation. Then I can get 3 different guys that used to ride, cyclocross back in the day. It doesn't matter, but just get 4 different groups of people that we're kind of just mates, and you might tease out different stories, and you take the mickey out of each other a little bit more, and you forget or you prompt each other with memories. Because sometimes I've been talking to guys, tell us one of your favourite places to ride, and they just go blank. It's just, I can't think of anything. Who inspired you? I can't think of anyone. Sometimes it's a bit,
Maybe not very riveting for the podcast. Who's your favorite person in the world? I
don't know. If you're not podcasting or pool building, not riding your bike, what do you get up to?
That's kind of it. I walk my dog.
That's a whole life there. The whole lifestyle is that.
Yeah, at the moment it is. Like I said, we sold our house, kind of got out of debt. We've gone into a little bit of debt to do this stuff. But I work for myself. RMG Pool's my company. I've limited the amount of work that I do, so I don't work long days. I try and finish early every day. And then I do.
I wake up and finish early.
Yeah.
Wake up late, finish early.
I think people would probably like, the lifestyle that I've got now. But I took a lot of years to get, and I've been planning to get this way for years. Like it took me 5 years to have the time in my own business to have time to do something else other than just work.
Yeah, that's what it takes, though. Everything has a stepping stones out there.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. So, but at the moment, look, I build the pool. I like learning AI stuff. I'm right into, AI and teaching myself what that stuff can do. I've been sending Nathan some pictures and stuff. I was sending him some stuff.
Yeah.
That's pretty good fun. I don't know. Do you guys know much that stuff?
From what you sent me, it actually looks really, really cool, man. Like it looks good, and like I've known you for quite a long time, and like I always just assumed that you're a very creative person, and so like what you've sent me, like we'll try and find someone, we'll chuck them up later, but yeah, like I wouldn't have expected anything less than something really cool from you. I mean, like it's just what it is. I mean, like I was just checking out your tats before. Like, can we see like your tats on your arm stuff? Like, is that something?
I know. Do you see that? Yeah. So that's pretty. I've just got one this week. On my daughter's 18th, I got a little. It's like I just add another little triangle, but that's an A. I don't know where's the camera there, but it goes up the sleeve. That's the section I did in Bali this just March, April this year, a bit more.
Was that the tapping technique?
Nah, that's still just normal. But
I forget what it's called, but yeah.
Yeah, no, none
with
of
a
that.
gun. You're saying
that stuff. But yeah, there's a really good guy that I met over there many years ago. I've got a couple of really good Balinese friends.
Nice.
And it helps them out just as much as getting a tattoo as it helps me. So every time I go back there, I'll keep getting tattooed by him. $400 for them goes a long way. He's got
true.
He might have 4 guys in his studio, and here I think they're charging $150, $160 an hour for tattoos here.
That's about right. I think
And what you can get for that money versus what you can get into Bali. And so, and you're giving them work as well, and I've got guys there drawing me designs, the kid guy sitting on the table drawing, someone else is doing the cleaning and all the rest of it. And that's their day, and they love it, and they eventually will get good at it. Again, the guy that's doing the tattooing, he's incredibly skilled.
Yeah.
And his lackeys take a long time learning from him, and he's able to kind of support them, But when COVID, I was in touch with them when COVID came. They had to sell everything. Like they love their animals, and my tattoo guy's got dogs, and he was saying he had to sell his scooters, he had to sell all this stuff, so he basically could feed his animals because tourism dried up.
Right.
And everything.
What a nice humble man. By the sounds of it.
Yeah. He loves his animals, and he'd do anything. You don't maybe see that from the street. I don't know if you guys have been to Bali. You might not see that.
I've never been to Bali. I've been pretty much everywhere else. But
Bali.
Pretty caring people. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you got tattoos then? You guys into the ink? You guys into the ink?
A little bit ink. Yeah.
What's that? I can't see that there.
Oh,
In there. Oh, that's got to hurt in there.
we've all got a bit of
Oh,
ink going on. But
Oh.
yeah.
that Ambrose there on the inside of the thing, that's got to hurt.
All the way up here. That's
What made you there?
that was a little bit tender.
What made you decide to do that?
I've always wanted to get one underneath my arm,
Yeah.
and I love ancient Egyptian stuff. So,
Yeah.
What better to get
That
the
is
mask on there.
the worst. Like I specifically avoided that when I got my
But Daniel just went straight for the
Oh,
most tender part.
I knew enough to go, no,
Well,
I'm not
actually,
going there.
I'm gonna argue with you guys, and sorry for interrupting, but I've got wings on my ankles, and like that really tender area there. I won't show you because I can't really pull my leg up, but that, like right on the bone and the tendon right beside your ankle there. Like even the artist that I was dealing with, he's like, "Are you sure you want to do this? This is your first tattoo." I'm like, "Hit me!" I was just like,
Yeah.
like he just, yeah, he went to town. Like even halfway through the session, like they usually do, it's just like, "Oh yeah, crack a beer," and then go sit out on the balcony for a while, and we'll start again. You know, like,
Yeah.
But yeah, it was surprisingly, I wouldn't say painful, but a feeling that I hadn't experienced before. Obviously, I've had injuries and stuff from mountain biking, but yeah, getting a tattoo like right on the ankle, yeah, it was
You feel
good.
like a champion. Once it's done, though, you feel like a champion straight away. Like the pain stops straight away. As soon as the needle
That's
stops,
right. Yeah.
Yep.
it pretty much then it's like when you scratch yourself. I mean, you pedal scrapes, and when you crash and you've got these big wounds on your body, and there's no real satisfaction. Nothing else comes from that. It's
Except the
similar to the
scars.
pain of a tattoo. You've got some art on your body. You know?
Yeah, but that's the thing. At the end of the day, chicks dig scars, right?
They keep
That's what they say.
They keep
That's what they
saying.
say, and it must be true because Sarah's here, you know. So it must be true.
Injuries. There you go. You boys, what's one of your best injuries? There you go. I'll throw that at you.
I'm
all right, Daniel, you're first.
okay. Yeah, I crashed my car when I was about 21 and had a compound fracture to my right femur. Had a bone sticking out. I was trapped in the car for about an hour and I didn't even realize I had a bone sticking out my leg. And when the ambo finally turned up, he's like, "Oh, you might not want to look at this, mate, but there's a bone sticking out of your leg." So the first thing I do is have a look.
Shock. You're in shock.
Must have just been shock. But as soon as I saw it, that's when
the shock.
And then result of the same injury, I was in hospital and my ankle was all swollen up, and I had this Nazi type little Asian sort of matron that kept coming in, and she kept saying, "Oh, you need to move your ankle to bring the swelling down." And she'd just grab it and move it. Oh, and I'm like, "Ah!" Every day for about 5 days she did this, and I was pleading with her not to do the physio on it today.
No, not today. Not today.
Not today.
I'm okay. Not today.
And anyway, finally, like I just said, "Listen, there's something wrong here. The swelling's not going down. It's agonizing pain." They went back in for an X-ray, and it was broken in 3 places.
And so, she's massaging you the whole time.
She's just moving this ankle every day, and I'm in torture. But so yeah, 3 screws in there, a femoral pin in my femur. Yeah, I bip the metal detectors every time I go through the
Oh yeah, I forgot about that sort of thing. Yeah, I mean, like I've even heard of people, they bring their X-rays to the airport to then prove that they've got something in their leg or arm or whatever it is, because like, you know, let's put it this way: it could be a gun, but it's not.
It could be.
You know, like.
So all right, so that was my short list of injuries. Nathan. We've got about half an hour here. Let's
to be honest, like I had a very long mountain bike career, which is still going, but like, you know, broken hands, dislocated both shoulders, ankles. I just don't have any ankles anymore. Ligaments in my knees. I've broken my kneecap. I actually have the broken piece of the kneecap that they had to surgically remove. I won't show it to you, but I have a piece of dried kneecap in my trophy cabinet there, which is disgusting. But like I used to do this, right? So I used to play poker, you know, just like, you know, family, fun, friends and whatnot. but I put the big blind on the kneecap, and so like the kneecap would go around the table playing poker, and that was the big blind. Notice there, and so even Sarah's looking at me now. She's going, "That was disgusting." But yeah, it's a piece of dried kneecap which is in the big blind there, and it shakes. You can hear it going around. Anyway, you got to keep your body all together. You know,
That's right.
Even when I had the surgery to remove it, she's like, "Do you want to keep this?" And I'm like, "Yes, I'm keeping that. Yes, I'm keeping that." Renoir has to be together. It has to be complete for the rest of his life. Although, yeah, you know, part of my soul and half my liver, maybe not, but you know, it is what it is.
So your longest recovery from something like that, like your worst one, would you say you had a worse one? Worst injury? Fighting, like racing or whatever?
Pretty much like without a proper surgery, my shoulder will be always like that.
Oh, shit.
Right.
Yeah.
So like I can move it at any stage. Like the rotator cuff is like pretty much demolished. So if I don't go to the gym, which I probably will later on as well, like I've already been once today, but I may as well do it again. But yeah, like without like constant supervision, like that's what it is. It just moves around.
Where'd you do that one?
Well, I've dislocated it a few times, put it that way. I think I had a big crash in practice in Vale. Vale is notorious for me and crashing, but yeah, it pretty much, it's so loose that it does come out sometimes even when I'm sleeping, and then I just literally have to push it back in. So, but it is what it is. But if I try and stay reasonably fit and healthy, strong, that it does help. Yeah.
I
touch with many of the old. Well, so I was going to say, do you keep in touch with many of the old guys you used to race with, Rennie? Like Kavarik and those guys? Are you in Penozza or those guys?
Yeah, I try to. I mean, like really, social media is like the kind of base of everyone these days. Let's just face it, sort of thing. And so, like, I always, you know, try and put up comments here and there, and occasionally talk on the phone and everything like that. But like I've got a couple of different platforms, obviously, and so I just keep in contact with their sort of thing. Like, keep up. Well, it's like even with the time difference with like the guys and girls that I know overseas, it overlaps a lot, and so social media is pretty much the only way to really do that. And like you'll find out the next day, kind of thing. Like, yeah, that's just what I base it on.
And you're doing what's your thing that you're doing now? A Victory Lab.
Well, Victory Lab is my athlete management program, and so I've got a few young guys on there, and I'm looking to branch out to get more, like in every sport as well. So not just mountain biking. I really just want to, like a lot of the younger generation, they just think, oh, I got a good result at this event, whatever it may be, in their chosen sport, and like, where's all the chicks and the money and the fame and everything like that? Like, I really try and teach the guys and girls that
back in the day.
Yeah, like you need to approach the sponsors, and you also have to conduct yourself well. You need to learn how to speak with media and stuff like that. Like I've had media training. Like I used to ride with Red Bull, which I still kind of do. But yeah, like they send you to like a week-long media training course, so then you learn how to speak to a camera and like get a grab, you know. And so this is what I try and teach the younger generation as well. I mean, like you can't just sit there and just say, oh yeah, well I had this for lunch and it was awesome, but then like it's like people don't care, you know. They don't care. You just got to learn how to promote your sponsors, and like I understand that you're going to be on TV for probably 20 seconds. That's it. Like it's not like a podcast that we're having now, where you know we've been going for like 40 something minutes now. Like they just after a grab, and you really have to watch the news to understand that they might just take a tiny snippet from an interview and then use only that, and that's it. Yeah,
and it's got to maybe explain a bit of the event, a bit of like just something that adds some excitement. You know, 7 good words strung together in the right way.
Exactly. That's what you got to teach the younger generation as well, man. It's like, yeah, they actually use like some athletic personalities as bad examples, you know, and they're literally like, the camera gets on them and they're like, oh, I'm here to promote Nike, and they cut, you're out. You know, like they kind of blow it, but that's just what media is. Like as you know, Zolly, like from your film experience with Volatile Visions, like you just after like the correct grabs at each time, like you were saying, like you would have to sift through hours and hours of junk before you got this, you know. It's what it is.
Shot, but you've got a shit angle of it, or the trick wasn't that great, but you've got a good angle of it. Like you got to get everything lined up together.
Yeah, like or you could be like my dad, and like here comes your favorite rider, and then there's a shot of the ground of the grass alongside the trail, and there's 2 hours of it.
Just your shoe in the pedal or something.
Yeah, but it's all a learning curve, you know. Yeah, what it is.
Are you into the retro bike scene down there in Adelaide, Zoltan?
I'm in touch with the guys through social media, and I gave them a bit of stuff for their event, but not so much for me. Like I've got an e-bike. That's my bike that I ride. I've had that. I mean, I've had a few of them.
Yeah.
But the old stuff. As I say, I've got all the video of the old stuff, but I'm not that into it. You know, I like showing it, but I was never really a geeky on the parts and the bikes and the tech. Like I couldn't fix my bike if my life depended on me, and I got to ride with guys. So then if something goes, someone else can help me fix it. You know, I can change the tube, and maybe that's about it. You know, maybe a little bit more, but I'm not known for my bike skills and technical skills.
Yeah.
And as far as the old stuff, I mean, I got plenty of old bikes in the shed, but I don't get as excited over them as some people do.
Yeah.
It's definitely a big scene, though. It's definitely a big scene. Like people are right into it.
Yeah, it's massive now. I mean, like I've even got some of my old frames down in the museum there, and like people, it's quite amazing to think that like people, like the latest technology when I was using it was like very current, and then now it's retro, and it's just like, oh, am I that old now?
It blinks when you miss it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Like technology in mountain bikes, it really just it was, let's just say it was rubbish, and then it became like really, really good. I mean, like even engineers coming in from like other industries are just like, well, how did you make that? How did you do that? Because it has to be as fast as possible and as strong as possible and as light as possible. So it's a very good benchmark mountain biking is with technology.
All that stuff. They're trying to work out the suspensions and which suspensions, high pivot, low pivot. What does it change? All that geometry on the bikes. And now the guys are saying like the electric stuff, like that the guys are racing with, the top guys. You guys heard of that stuff? They've got the tech on their bikes that the adjustments through a computer. It's a downhill bike. It's not electric bike like mine, but it's got all this electric adjustment, you know, computerized adjustment on a bike. Well, that's just mad, isn't it? I don't know. What do you think about that?
Yeah, well, that stuff has been around for a little while. I mean, like you can really, I've heard of, like, don't quote me, but like even like with the electric bikes, there's a bit of tampering that you can do with them to then make them even more performance sort of thing. So like basically the level playing field with e-bikes isn't there anymore, you know, like because you could just have like this super powerful motor which has been souped up in some sort of way, and then you're up against a guy with something which isn't as good kind of thing. So, but like that's just like in all motorsports, put it that way, motocross, road racing, cars, whatever. Like they try and make it level playing field, but there's always like a little bit of advantage here and there.
Well, so. Then it's going to become a lot more elite. It will really become a rich man sport. Like back when the Aussies were racing back in the days, you know, you weren't going with a lot of money in your back pocket or anything like that. You're just getting over there and racing, and you're beating the best in the world. Whereas now, to be able to afford to travel and compete and have all that tech and gear and support, you know, it would probably really distant. I imagine it would put a bit of a gap in the field, wouldn't it? It'd be pretty hard.
Yeah, it depends. I mean, like
break through.
Like racing at the highest level, let's just sort of sum up what I was talking about. Like all the bikes are really, really good, you know. And like when it comes down to, like we don't have a motor like which is like petrol powered or anything like that. So mountain biking is pretty much an even playing field. Like it's much more down to the skill of the rider and overall health and planning your process with like practicing at the right times and trying to recreate that same environment for your race run. Like even the position of the sun, like you might practice in the morning for like hours, but then you don't race on Sunday at that time of day. So you will actually have to go back to see what you're going to be seeing at that time of day, not when you practiced before. So even the shadows play with your vision. And so like, you know, you're seeing sunlight and then like shadows, and then that's all going to change in your race run. So you need to actually go back up the hill and then walk at that time to see what it's actually going to look like. And also there's other categories of riders at the same time. So the course changes differently depending on which category is riding it. So like there is a lot into it, but you know, I've been racing for a very long time, so I'm pretty good at it. You know,
Yeah.
so yeah.
What's your best result or favorite result?
I
know, yeah.
I don't know, man. I mean, I do have a list, but at the same time,
Good
like,
memory that you've got that, nailed that run. There's probably a
yeah,
couple.
like, well, racing at the highest level is pretty weird because you're almost like when you're dealing with a point system and like you're sort of near the top, it's almost you don't push so hard, and then just like to final to finish the season off, you'll push hard at the given time. But if you're in the top bracket, you don't really have to go 100% the whole time, you know, like, which is dumb because like you want to get the best results as you're going along. But yeah, I mean, like, to sum this up, like my favorite result was Crystal Mountain, which was years and years and years ago. I even forget the year, but that was when I was trying to win, and then I won convincingly on one of the most difficult tracks in the season. And like I wasn't known to be like a very technical rider, like more like a high speed sort of base thing. But then Crystal Mountain, it really was, for lack of a better term, was a man's track, and I was a boy and I won, you know. And so that was just really what like put me on the scene, and really that it put a staple on my entire career, you know. So that's pretty much my most memorable win was Crystal Mountain, you know. Yeah.
When did you stop?
When did I stop? Well, 2009 was my last World Cup season, I think. But then I've still done other things since then. But like racing overseas like that, like I chose to start a family instead, you know. So like I raced to a point, like I didn't even have a real job until that point, you know. Like racing bikes was my first job, you know, put it that way. My first source of income was prize money, and that was it. I didn't have a real job until 2009 to 2010. So, but yeah, that was the time period of my career, and that's just what it is. Like with a lot of people in all sports, that is what it is.
I remember
So,
you telling me, Nathan, that you basically hadn't bought clothes or even booked tickets or anything like that for yourself either. You know, you just come out of this career and you've had to basically learn how to do all this stuff yourself. You never had to do it.
Never had to do it. Obviously, I wasn't that hopeless, Daniel. But, shut up, Sarah. but yeah, I mean, like that was just the beauty of like any top range of sport. You know, in the top bracket, I didn't have to buy clothes. I didn't have to feed myself, basically. So, but that's just what it is. And so, yeah, for sure, I was spoiled, but I had my I had my accreditations. Shut up, Sarah. I had my accreditation, so I somewhat deserved it. So anyway, that's enough about me. That's enough about me.
What do you do? What else do with yourself now, Ambrose?
Yeah, I got 3 kids and running a small carpentry business. We went camping a couple of weeks ago, and I've sort of found a new hobby in gold fossicking. Which,
okay.
I'm starting to get pretty excited about. And I've got an old metal detector, but I bought it 10 years ago with the intention of getting into this sort of this hobby. But the last couple of times I've taken it out, it's been playing up, and so I think it's time to invest in a new one.
It's not finding any gold.
Sorry?
It's not finding any gold. I bought the machine that was supposed to get all this gold, and I haven't found any.
I haven't found any yet.
Yeah, get another machine.
Yeah. I found a couple of flecks, you know, doing the old gold panning. But yeah, nothing of great value yet. But I think that's what keeps you interested, and you know, I think, you know, years ago, you know, we used to play the pokies, and you know, you'd get a big win on the pokies, and that sort of drives you for more.
Yeah.
To play them more. I think
I bought a Datsun with a pokey win.
At least gold panning and gold fossicking, I suppose, doesn't cost you like pokey playing.
Yeah, don't play the pokies, guys.
Yeah, stay away from those pokies. They're bad news.
They are designed to beat you, and they will. That's what it is.
I've got a couple of young apprentices that work for me, and they love the pokies. They'll come in on the weekend and after the weekend, and they'll tell you how much they won. You never hear the losses though.
Yeah,
But yeah, that's where I'm at. Yeah, that and I still like a bit of fishing when I get time. But yeah, deep sea.
I like a bit of fishing. Yeah, catching squid's good. That's my favorite.
Yep.
Catching my kids will all eat that if I catch some of them.
Yeah, yep. Do you mainly just feed the family with the squid, or do you use them as bait?
Yeah, look, I'll only catch one or two at a time. You know,
Yeah, okay.
I've been real big hauls.
Yes.
Yeah, I've got a couple of mates that enjoy doing a bit of that.
Yeah, they're excellent bait for the bigger pelagics like kingies and tuna and things like that. So
yeah. No, unfortunately, I don't like getting too far out in the water, like with boats and stuff like that. I'm a bit scared of the water. You know?
Yeah,
I want to be close to land, I think.
Yeah, I was a bit like that myself when I first started doing it, but I think like everything, you get used to it, and yeah, you still respect the ocean. That's one thing you have to always just be on the ball. But I think the furthest I've been out was 90 k's offshore, and
stuff that.
Yeah, we're a long way out, and a storm picked up, and then we had to come back in, and it was a long...
No, it's the fact that I have to listen to you for a long period of time, Daniel.
Are you on the boat with him? Are you on the boat with him?
So, but no, it was a... Yeah, no, I used to love doing that. But three young kids, and yeah, usually we'd go out and like fishing comps, and they'd be all weekend. So yeah, trying to get a leave pass from the wife for an all weekend fishing event. It's few and far between these days. So,
how old are your kids? How old are yours?
I've got 6, 8, and 10. So,
okay, young. They still love everything to do with mum and dad.
That's right.
Once they get older, it's not so much.
I've heard that's the next stage. Yeah, they get through their teens. They don't want to know mum and
13,
dad.
14, it's a whole new world. What, boys, girls?
I got a young girl and 2 older boys. Yeah, so
okay, yeah.
But it was good. The 2 boys, you've got your own relationship with them, and then young daughter, it's a completely different mindset with her. And I'm glad we had a daughter. Yeah, I got to experience that. So
mine's the other way around. I got 2 daughters, and then a third we had a son. So yeah,
okay,
beautiful.
So yeah.
You said they play soccer.
Yeah, my youngest is. Yeah. He's right into that in his club soccer. He actually had a really bad injury this year. Broke 2 bones through his wrist. Broke his wrist, and it was like a Z shape. I haven't seen an injury that bad riding bikes, and that he just fell on the soccer pitch, fell awkwardly. It was the end of summer. They had no rain. There was a cricket pitch in the middle of the soccer pitch as well, and just an awkward fall. And I was right there. I was 3 meters away. I actually was taking photos, and I've actually got a photo of him. He's fallen, breaking his wrist, and then I just ran to him and said, "No, we're just gonna sit here now, mate." You know, and he toughed that out. It took like 40 minutes for the ambulance and the green whistle to come. Big plates and screws in his arm. He's got a pretty chunky scar. They say chicks dig scars. We'll see how.
Hey, that's it, man. That's it. Remind him of that. Remind him of that.
But tell maybe a better story than that. No, I fell on the soccer pitch. I don't know.
Yeah, my middle bloke. Yeah, he started playing soccer last season, and first season, and started off a bit rough, but then by the end of the season, fantastic little player. But he wants to give it up to play footy, play rugby league.
Yeah.
He's only a little guy, and I think he got eaten alive. But he's
over there into
he's adamant he wants to play footy. So. But
that's it. I mean, like when I was younger, like my mother, who's passed now, but I wanted to play footy, and she's like, no, you can't do that. You got to choose a safer sport. So I chose downhill mountain biking instead.
She was all right with that.
Yeah. She used to be the only one telling me to slow down. She's even like when I brushed on it before, like my dad would be like shooting the races and stuff like that. She'd be the only one saying slow down, and I'm serious. She's you can hear her in the background saying slow down.
It's trying to win. You're not going to win like that.
I've got a job to do here, Mum.
She already did before the world.
She'd always
She'd
always use her teacher voice too, Nathan. I bet she had a teacher voice on too.
Oh yeah. She would. She was. Yeah, she doesn't muck around. You don't muck around with Lynn, that's for sure.
No, that's for sure.
No. But you're also talking about a lady, my mother, who instead of getting the kids in trouble at school, she would just give them a pair of scissors and tell them to go and cut the grass out the front of the schoolroom, the classroom. And so like I'd go around. I'd never believed that believe that she did that. But like you go to the classroom and there'd be like a patch, like a patch of grass that's been cut with a pair of scissors because like she didn't want to give them detention. This is your detention. Go and cut the grass.
Yeah, because you guys went to school together, is that right?
Yeah, early in primary
Yeah,
school.
we did for a very short period of time.
Yeah, back in kindy in year 1, I think it was.
Yeah, okay.
So
For a fair while.
Sure. Yeah, it's been 40 long years, Nathan.
Yeah, we've known each other for 40 years now. Like,
what made you guys decide to do your podcast? Like, where did yours come from? Your idea?
I think we'd always had an idea to do something like this, and well, I know I'd always wanted to do some sort of podcast, but had no idea or no content really to base it on. But Nathan rang one day and just said, "Hey, we're doing a podcast," and I said, "Oh, okay, all right, no worries, let's do it." And
yeah, like it was just it was literally like a spontaneous idea to do, and I mean like it's been a learning curve for us, but like at the same time we have fun. We have also different guests. Like we have a lot of feedback as well, pros and cons as we go along, and like we just have fun with it. That's all we do. So that's what it is.
It's been for me. I'm not sure about you, Nathan, but for me, it's definitely been like good to boost my confidence and basically character building. When I first started, I said to Nathan, I'm shit scared about doing this. I don't know if I can do this. He said, "You'll be right, Daniel. Don't worry. Just think about what you're going to say and do it." But the first one, I was so nervous.
I actually totally forgot that Daniel hadn't really done anything like this before. Like, and so our first episode, there was a lot of Daniel there. We wasn't saying much. Yeah.
I was too scared to pipe in, you know. I thought, I don't want to talk over anyone, or I don't want to do this, I don't want to do that. And you know, Nathan and our guest, who was also another one of my friends, they'd sort of pipe in, "Daniel, what do you have to say about this?"
Oh, that's me.
Hold the cue card up. "Daniel, your turn."
Yeah.
But
I had to record a bit of stuff for my thing. Like talking to you guys, this isn't so bad, and doing the stuff I'm doing when I'm talking to someone, it's all right. But when you actually just face the camera and talk to the camera, took me a long time to actually do that bit. I really don't feel comfortable with that.
I know the feeling.
Yeah,
it takes a little bit, but it's all good.
You see everyone else doing it, and you go, "Oh, it is what it is," you know.
Yeah.
Make mistakes, stuff up, you don't get it right.
That's it. It's all good.
It proves you're human, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But so Zoltan, usually we finish with 3 questions. Are you ready for these 3 questions?
Sure. Let's go for it.
First off, favorite Metallica song?
I've heard you guys say this one. We had the speakers set up yesterday and I played a bit of Metallica, and my wife was out. She says, "No, it's not appropriate. It's not appropriate to play that." But I probably actually like Nothing Else Matters. You know, I do like Sandman, but Nothing Else Matters. I like that. That'd be my favorite song, I reckon.
Yeah. The Black Album.
Yeah.
Good song. Nathan, you want to ask the second?
Are we up to
steak?
Okay, when it comes to your steaks, is it one flip? That's the whole question. Is it one flip?
Do you flip?
I know the right answer. I know the right answer. But I'm not saying I always do it.
So you're about to say that you go against the one rule.
My finger is hovering on the disconnect button right here.
Once.
Only you flip it once. That's right.
All right.
That is correct. That is the correct answer. You passed the test.
On to round 3. All right.
There are some people there are continuous flippers and they get kicked out of the house.
That's right. You must leave.
You will now leave my backyard because you've been flipping too much, sir.
I love cooking barbecues, but I would have been guilty many times of such acts.
Continuous flipping.
I think it becomes an anxious sort of thing where people, you know, maybe they're you know, not talking about what they want to talk about in the conversation around the barbecue, or so they end up flipping out of a nervous reaction.
Sausages are different. Sausages and chicken and stuff like that. But now I'm a lot better. Now we get a really nice steak, and I really try to cook it just really nicely.
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah, this is a community service announcement.
Yes.
What we're saying here. So,
Flip your steak once and eat
flip
vegan.
one.
Yeah, one flip or flip off. That's what it is.
So, and now to our final question, the third one. What are your thoughts on the Tasmanian tiger? Do you think it's still out there?
On the thylacine.
Yes.
Thylacine, yeah.
Look, I've went to Tassie once a long time ago, and people say it's pretty remote.
Yep.
And sometimes I do hear these stories. So look, it'd be good to think it was. I think they're saying they could reclone it, or they could possibly do something like that genetically.
Yeah, I heard this recently. Yeah, they're I think they're in the process of doing so.
But look, there are some places around the world that are pretty remote, and maybe there still are some creatures there that are smart enough to keep away from humans. You know?
Yeah, that's it.
That's the thing,
That's
wouldn't it? Yeah.
I think some of that bush out there on the west coast of Tassie, I think it's pretty thick and pretty secluded. Yeah, pretty hard to actually humans to.
Yeah, you got to remember that like
the
the tiger isn't solely in Tasmania. It's simply called a Tasmanian tiger, but there are certain breeds of the Tasmanian tiger or thylacine that have been found on the mainland as well.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, like offshoots or whatever of them. Yeah.
So, oh well.
All right, so
today, Zoltan.
Did I get the 3 questions right? Did I do well?
You did well.
You did very well.
You did well. 100%.
Very well.
Gold star. Gold star.
Gold
good
star
one.
performance.
So,
all right. Well, let's wrap it up then, guys. Thank you very much, Zoltan. Yeah, we'll get a couple more pictures from you, and then we'll just work on some editing and things like that. But yeah, thank you very much for joining us
thanks for coming on today.
Yeah, this has been good fun. Really nice to catch up and chat to you guys. Good luck with you. Keep doing the thing you're doing.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah.
If you ever
Thank
need
you very
guests,
much. And you don't need luck, Zoltan, but yeah, I'm sure your podcast is doing well as well. So it's good.
Good one. Thanks, guys.
All right, mate. Have a great day.
Appreciate it.
All right, man.
Yeah.
Take it easy.
Out of his character is the appearances internally visualized, like where the world things are. From here, I will charge. I just wanna spend my time away from suffering and boredom. I wanna spend my time on me, look forward to being myself. The tractor was my life. This is my thing. This is my thing. Is all I ever sought. This time I found it's just in front of me. Celebrate to achieving my life. It's to practice my well-being and lead the track. It makes so nice to have something I love close to me. It makes so nice to have good friends. It makes so nice to have good friends that share my dreams. This is my thing. This is my thing. This is my thing. This is my thing. Where can we progress to? Watch it worse. I wanna do this for my city. My heart. It means so much to have something I love close to me. This is my thing. This is my thing. This is my thing. This is my. This is my thing. This is my thing.
Rounds, Yukivarix, Rennie, and Hill, and haven't been here. And I think the only guy that's not here is Mick Hanna, but moving.
You're
out of the start. We've got some nice rhythms, some pretty good tight.